Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Mantra Monday. So, Mantra Monday is a time for self reflection, it's a time for healing, a time for self compassion. We wake up, turn up, see what's up, see what the universe has for us. I shuffle a deck of cards and we just see what the universe has for us for today. I am going to be going with the Empowerment deck by Judith Orloff. Wherever you are in the world, say hello. I'd like to see who's here and where you are. I'm currently in Singapore. So, hi Yabo, how are you? So we're going to go with cleansing today. Something that I do with my clients a lot in my 8-week program is something called Marrakesh. Okay, babe, she's in Marrakesh. All right. Oh, that threw me off guard. So something that I do with my clients in my Conquer Trauma and Live in Control is something called cord cutting. And this practice is really important because when we kind of form bonds with people, we essentially bring them into our energy field. So sometimes that could be really positive and nurturing and infuses you, right? Sometimes that could be detrimental to your energy field as well. Detrimental sounds a bit dramatic, but it can suck you dry of your energy, or it can leave imprints into your energy field as well. So we go through a cord cutting, which is essentially a meditation that helps you visualize a certain cord between you and this person. It is healthy. It doesn't damage the relationship in any way. It just cuts off those strong attachments. You ever have that feeling where you're with someone and then you're not like with them so much, like maybe you built a relationship, but you can't kind of quite get them off of your mind or in your emotions? It's probably because there is some kind of attachment bond that's been formed, and cord cutting just helps to release that if there are unhealthy patterns in that dynamic. So we go through that meditation, but if you don't have that, sage is also a really good thing. So I use sage to cleanse my energy. So in a mindful moment today, if you have sage, or if you just even have incense burning that is sage, you can also use this to clear any negative things in your electromagnetic field. So essentially, what you're doing is bringing attention to your body, just noticing what's in your mind, noticing what's in your emotions, what's happening in your body. You just use the sage to just bring goodness into yourself. So I remove any negative patterns or any negative bonds that have been formed with me and XYZ person. And I cut the cords of unhealthy patterns between us. And you just go through your body and go all the way down to your feet. Then you send them love. I send X, Y, and Z love. I send them peace. I send them goodness in their life, whatever they're supposed to heal in, grow in, let them have that in abundance. And you send your blessings off to them as you release the patterns. And then, of course, you're bringing in peace, love, surrender to your own heart, especially if you've been hurt in certain situations. You want to allow yourself to feel healing. So you might be healing and you might circle it a little bit more in your heart chakra, because, where there's a broken heart, that can be difficult. So you bring the sage, or if you're doing the cord cutting exercise, you're cutting the cords, you just bring healing and peace and love and joy to your own heart. Of course, this takes practice. It's a muscle that needs to be built. But by actually saying these things out loud, we talk about naming it to tame it a lot. Say these things out loud, validate your emotions, and allow yourself to heal and move on if you need to, because these bonds can be very strong. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean that they don't exist. Okay, so we're going to take a little mindful moment. I'm using energy today because I need a little boost in my energy because I have quite a bit of work to do tonight. Just going to take a deep breath in. Just sigh out all the stress, anxiety, depression, confusion, delusion even, and just breathe in peace, love, joy, and healing. Okay, so we're going to go with Judith Orloff's deck today. shuffle, 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 see what the universe has for us. I hope we've had like a good weekend. Some of us may have had a good weekend. Some may have been turbulence. Whatever weekend you have, pause today, reflect on what the teaching is for you, because people are sent to us in our lives to teach us something, maybe to heal from something or to grow in something. If we make it less about them and more about the lessons that we're supposed to learn, you actually get to be in a space where you're growing for yourself, you're not projecting, you're not blaming, which I'm not gonna lie is nice and sweet to do. Especially when you're in pain, you want to have a good moan about someone, and that's fine once in a while, as long as it doesn't become your default way of being, just projecting and blaming other people for your struggles. Something about whatever has happened, it's good to just sit back and say, okay, why was this person sent into my energy field? Why were they brought into my life? A really good friend of mine calls them teachers, and I like that because it kind of changes the perspective a bit. And so if they're your teachers and you're looking at it more as, what am I supposed to learn? How am I supposed to grow from this? Cord cut if you need to, if it's negative energy, and really look after yourself by bringing in compassion and love if there are wounds that have been formed. Okay, so what do we have today? Embrace your imperfections. So it says, release the idea that you must be without flaws. Humans are imperfect, messy, and also miraculous. Simply aim to be the best person possible. I love that. Because yes, I definitely woke up today. I had a difficult situation, a conflict in the relationship, and it just triggered all the flaws. It was almost like, oh my gosh, like I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right, and I was listing all the things. And by default, you don't even know that you're doing it. And this is why metacognition is important. So metacognition is thinking about what you're thinking about. And I just started down this spiral where I could just see myself go. And guess what? Your brain will then also remind you of other times in the past when you've done that same thing or thought or perceived yourself in a certain way. And then it takes you, oh, it's just like that time when that happened with that person. Maybe that might mean something about you. And you start to internalize, you start to build shame. There's a difference between guilt and shame, as Brene Brown says. Shame is, I am stupid, I am bad. Guilt is, I did something stupid or I did something bad. Shame is more about labeling. And when you get into these negative thought patterns that also trigger things that happened in the past, you get into that shame space of, well, maybe that means that I am a bad person. Maybe that means that I can never really be in a relationship because no one will ever love me because I have all these flaws and all these imperfections that are unlovable. I'm unlovable. We have all kinds of labels that we put on ourselves. So our card today is saying, embrace your imperfections. We are human, we make mistakes, we hurt people. We can pause and reflect on that, take responsibility where we need to, but know that everyone deserves a second chance. Every single person deserves a second chance to try and heal and be the best version of yourself. That's what it says. It says, simply aim to be the best person possible. So whatever it is today, if there's anything that you've done or even other people have done to you, take a moment to pause and acknowledge what is happening because we want to validate the experience. And then just remind yourself, you might tap into it in your body, affirm yourself even if you don't believe it, okay? Because the default negative thought pattern is there anyway. So might as well add something into it. I am lovable. I am enough. I can be loved. I can have people be committed to me. I can have loyal friendships. Today I was watching something about the law of assumptions, not just the law of attraction, where you're bringing in things into your energy field. But the law of assumptions, it's about already believing that you have what it is that you're hoping for. So assume that you can be lovable. Assume that you can be successful. Assume that you can achieve. assume that you can have that relationship that you crave for, where you're truly accepted and loved for who you are, and in all your flaws, in your imperfections. However, it starts with you being your number one lover first. So make those assumptions of yourself first. So even though I may make some knucklehead decisions because they're choices, doesn't mean that you are a knucklehead. um, I can be loved, I can be accepted, I can be protected for who I am at any given moment. And that starts with me. That starts with me looking at those things in my body that I don't like, that we shame ourselves for and say, ooh, that's disgusting. Ooh, I don't like looking at this or that. And then we feel insecure because we think if somebody else looks at that thing, they might think that it's disgusting and they don't want to be a part of it. If we start that journey for ourselves first, where we're saying, I look at my imperfections, easier said than done. We all struggle with this. There's no person on this planet that doesn't have a flaw, that doesn't think, oh, wow, this is something that is unacceptable, or actually, I don't want to expose. Every single person has something. So start little. I remember, with some of my clients that had sort of body image trauma or issues, we would start little. We would just start with one part of the body. And sometimes it could even be something simple like just looking at yourself halfway into the mirror, because that's how traumatizing these things can be, where you really can't even look at yourself in the mirror because you feel disgusted by yourself. So we build this muscle gradually, like what caused it, how did it happen, and start to affirm yourself slowly. And it's a really good one to do with your body, particularly if you have a lot of body shaming that happens. And gradually just look at yourself and affirm yourself in these ways. Because when you start that journey, your brain actually starts to believe it because it's a muscle. Your brain is a muscle. You work it out in one way. If your default is to have negative thought patterns, which 90%, as the research has shown, tends to be negative thought patterns. But we can build that muscle with positive thoughts. And I'm not talking about positive toxicity. Say that right. No, I'm not talking about like self-talk that is always positive about everything and not acknowledging the negative. No, I'm saying acknowledge the things that you find hard, but reframe, build the muscle in your brain so that it's also going into default mode of, I am badass. Like, seriously, look at me today. Look at my heart. Look at how kind I am. Look at how caring I am. Look at how creative I am and thoughtful I am and decisive I am and committed I am. And I just love the way, my hands look like this or my eyes look like this. And just affirm yourself. Sometimes even hearing yourself say that could be like, ugh, that sounds like bragging, sounds like boasting. But your brain needs to go into default in the other way as well. So start somewhere, start wherever you need. Pick one affirmation that you need. I'm enough, I'm lovable, I'm accepted, I'm worthy. Whatever you need, start somewhere and just meditate on it and affirm yourself in that way. So have a beautiful, beautiful day and embrace your imperfections. And I will see you next week again for Munch Monday.